Good evening. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. I got a pleasant surprise today. Um, we had gotten the mail today, like normal, and so it was just junk mail, and so I dealt with that and continued about my task in the kitchen cooking dinner, and then all of a sudden the mail lady pulled up in front in the mail truck and dropped off a package, and I'm like, I wasn't expecting anything. And lo and behold, we had a package from Steve, and it had a couple of shirts in it. And that the picture for the thumbnail is the back of the shirts. And I thought it was really cool, and I really highly appreciate that, Steve. And man, I'll tell you what, that's a cool shirt. I like that. So I appreciate that very, very much. So that's why the title of the show and the particular thumbnail that I chose today. Man, I'll tell you what. There's yeah, I agree, Leo. It looks good. I mean, it just fits the bill. It's perfect. I love it. But yeah, been kind of one of those crazy days in news. Kind of been all over the place. Luckily, I haven't seen us go off the edge of anything yet, but wow, it's definitely an interesting day, I will say that. I think it's going to lead into an even more interesting week, though. I don't think we've even begun to see anything as far as the week is concerned. Let's see. What was the different stuff that I was keeping an eye on today? There was a couple of things I was watching. Of course, Bezos had a booster, a rocket blow up. Fortunately, it was an unmanned mission, and even the capsule itself, with the experiments that they were taking to space, survived. I thought that was pretty incredible. I'm going to show you when we get to that. I'm going to show you the incredible job that the systems made, or did, I should say, in protecting that capsule. To be real honest, I was impressed, and I don't want to be because it's Bezos, but I was highly impressed. So anyway, got that. We got, among other things, we've got more conflicts that seem to be popping up across the pond, and just there seems to have been a lot of escalation today and going into today. Seems to be a lot of escalation going on. So lots of hot spots over there, and when I mean over there, I mean all over there, to keep an eye on, and of course keeping an eye on what the hell they're doing in our own country. Man. Let me see if there's anything I was gonna update. I did get a couple of pictures today. I just posted one. Let me hang on. I didn't think to even pop this up. I did go get a sunset picture today. It's nothing fantabulous or anything. It just yeah. I've been trying to get one for the last several days. About a week or so ago, I looked out the window and just saw the most gorgeous hue of red. And I had no charged batteries. And on top of that, you don't have a very long time frame to be able to get that picture. They say golden hour. Let me tell you what, it's golden few minutes. And so anyway, there was no way I could have got, even if I would have had a charged battery, there was no way I could have got that drone up in the air. And oh, thank you. No way I would have got it up in the air and been able to get pictures in time. So, like the last 3 nights, I've had the drone ready, at that time because it's been kind of hit or miss as far as the clouds go. You don't want a clear sky, but of course you don't want it overcast either. And tonight's kind of sucked too. So, but once in a while you just get that perfect, beautiful picture. And I kind of struck out. I mean, I got a good sunset, but you know, there's much better sunsets. But anyway, I did manage to do that. That was actually the first time this year that I've taken the drone up for a picture. The only time I've had it out prior to tonight was, I guess, a week or two ago. I took it out. I took both drones out. I just put all the batteries, ran through the batteries, made sure everything was functioning fine and all of that, and put them back up. Tools, not toys. But, you know, I could probably sneak them out and get a few more pictures than I do. Anywho, let's see. Is there anything else from today? Not that I can think of. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. There may be something. It seems like there was something, but I'm just missing it. So anyway, let's let me close that. And we'll go ahead and kick on over and man. Oh wait, wasn't there something else? Oh yeah, there was something else I was going to show you. Hang on. I'm working on it. I need to go through and clear my desktop off again. I'm a hoarder when it comes to desktop. Is it this one? I think it's yeah. I actually shared this out on a community post earlier, and I was like, holy cow. I wished I would have been able to get in on that. I'll read it because it's probably a bit small for you. Collection of shoemakers molds for all different sizes of shoes, from small kid size to large. There are 17 cast iron shoe molds, many different molds, sole and heel molds. The stand was made by the man who was a shoe repairman. Very nice collection, selling as a collection. $125. $125. You have no idea how badly I wished I could get those. Now, I don't know that I would make a good cobbler. I don't know that I wouldn't make a good cobbler, to be real honest. But, you know. I guess Blue's allergic to my bullshit. She's over there sneezing. But anyway, I think I would make a good cobbler. You know, pretty decent working with my hands. But anywho, let me go ahead and switch back over. Let's see. Payment giants to track gun store sales. And I'm sure you've already heard this about 3 dozen times by now. This has really been in the news the last couple of days. So you basically already know the drill. Well, it started out with Visa, if I'm not mistaken, and then the other ones real quick jumped on board. It says right here, 3 major payment processing companies, Visa, MasterCard, and American Express, have announced they will put all gun shop sales into a separate category of purchases from now on. The move, which was met with criticism by weapons rights advocates, follows a decision by an international standards body to introduce a separate merchant code for firearms retailers. Okay? It says here, Visa, the world's largest payments processor, was the last to announce it. Oh, I guess they were the last. To announce its decision on Saturday. MasterCard and American Express had both previously said they would start using a new code. Okay, so they weren't the first. Somebody was reporting they were the first. The International Organization for Standardization, a Swiss-based body, announced its decision to introduce a new merchant category code on Friday. Until Friday, gun store sales were labeled as general merchandise. The move was made in response to a request by a New York-based amalgamated bank. Amalgamated, I guess. You know, here's the thing, folks. They could have probably already tracked you before now. However, this makes it all that easier. Not only that, but there's a whole lot of stuff that you don't have to get a background check done on. In most places anyway. Like ammunition, like accessories. And in fact, there's typically, as far as I know, and I'm not the gun guy, but as far as I know, there's typically only one part to most firearms that you actually have to worry about being legal to have, right? The part that's got the serial number on it, the receiver, okay? As long as you've got a receiver, you can order every other single part for that firearm without any type of background check or anything else. And I'm not saying this in support of this nonsense, you know, more gun laws and more gun restrictions, but I'm explaining why this is so important. Because all of those other items were passed over pretty easily whenever whenever they were paid for, right? Sure, if you were at a Cabela's or Bass Pro Shops or gun show or whatever, yeah, it's going to be obvious. But what if you go to a Rural King or a Tractor Supply Company or something like that, and you go get some feed for your chickens and some, and you figure, well, while I'm here, I'm going to pick up some ammunition. And while you're looking at ammunition, you see a new gun case. And then you see what I'm saying? So, those types of orders wouldn't have necessarily been easily trackable. And I don't know if they're going to, like, for instance, anyone that does sell firearms or firearms accessories. Now, I don't know if they're going to make that department of that company use this new code. I would bet so. I would be willing to bet that even if it's Walmart, Rural King, Tractor Supply, Buckeyes, you name it, regardless of whatever one it is, they would have to bring those items up under that certain code. And I'm almost betting that they're going to do that. Here's the thing. They can get a much better idea of what they're dealing with as far as you and the firearms that you have if they can get a record of the ammo and the accessories that you are buying. Right? Are you buying one type, one size of ammunition, or are you buying, ammunition for 4 different sizes, It's going to be to where they can pinpoint what it is you're doing, and if you're actively buying ammunition, what they're going to just deem that is that you're out practicing. You're out sharpening your skills. This is not good. And I'm telling you right now, gun owners better make a decision. They better damn well make it quick. They better decide whether or not the Second Amendment is important to them. And if it is, all I'm going to say is they better get busy. Now, I'm not saying they better go commit an insurrection. No. But sitting on your ass and just voting every 2 or 4 years isn't going to do the trick either. Just paying your NRA dues at the end of the year isn't going to do the trick. Not even remotely. have to show them that it's at least worth the effort for you to show up. And you largely don't see that. Not on that massive a scale. Come on. Man, when it comes to a Second Amendment rally, that place should be so damn packed they can't find a place big enough to hold it. But it's not. But people that damn well go to that ball game can't miss that. That's what's important. We're in some trouble. We truly are. And this is going to be a very serious tool for them to use to be able to gauge an idea of what who has. See, at this point in time, they probably really don't know exactly what people have and how much of what people have. Probably drives them crazy, to be honest. I find that humorous. But, you know, if they can start watching what it is you're purchasing, they can have a rough idea of what you're dealing with. I really do think that Americans are going to face a day and a time to where they are going to have to make a life and death decision on how important the Second Amendment is to them. But I don't think it's going to happen by them rolling through the streets, going door to door. I don't think they're going to do it that way. It's either going to be a false flag, or going to be in a grid down or some similar situation. And you're going to have to make the choice either between food, shelter, your family, your kids, or your firearms. Or they're just going to pretty much regulate and outlaw the hell out of everything and just pick people off as they go. Because that's already proven to be the perfect thing that they can use, and that they can get as many people as they want. All they have to do is not hit everybody at once. All they have to do is pick off a few here and a few there, a few over here, and then go pick off a few more here, and then a few more there, and a few... Because as long as they do that, and it even remotely looks even a tiny bit isolated, people don't give a damn about others. People don't care. If they did, they would choose the damn Second Amendment rally over the ball game. Let's stop kidding ourselves. The virtue signaling is getting nowhere. Nowhere at all. If something's not done about this, I'm telling you, this is a bad step. So anyway, I'm not done with firearms yet. Check out this story. So, dude had his gun stolen. Apparently has an Apple AirTag, I guess, in the case with the firearm. And listen to this. Says outbreaks of crime across St. Louis City and downtown have continued in recent months. This weekend brought even more shootings and car break-ins. One Metro man is speaking out after his property was stolen and said police aren't helping him get it back. His main concern is that it could be used to commit a crime. When I closed the door, I heard glass shatter and I was like, oh man. So I looked behind the passenger door and the window was busted and my bag was gone, Daniel Portal said. Portal parked his car in the parking lot near 11th and Clark Street around 11:30 p.m. Friday. When he came out less than an hour later, he realized that he was the latest theft victim. His bigger concern is still lingering after he learned what was stolen. My Glock 17 with 2 additional clips, magazines, with ammunition in them. It was in a lockbox, Portal said. Portal told News 4 he doesn't typically leave his gun in his car, but said he wasn't going to be gone long and he was going inside a place where he didn't want to have it. He said he called police while simultaneously tracking the gun on his phone with an Apple AirTag he placed on it months ago. It's something he said he thought would help police get his personal property back. They asked me to describe it. I'm not too sure how many other people memorize a serial number off the gun. Well, you should probably have it wrote somewhere, Chief. But they were definitely worried about that, Portal explained. That's despite Portal having the gun's active location, which has been at the same Ferguson apartment since the theft. My biggest concern is them, the suspect, going out and doing the worst things possible, and that's putting someone else's life in danger or causing harm, Portal said. It's a stolen weapon that's registered in Portal's name. This is just mind-blowing. A stolen firearm, and supposedly they're against all the, they need to get all these firearms off the streets. They literally have a real-time location on a stolen firearm, and nothing. So, how can you on one hand want to tell us about how, the gun epidemic is horrible and these gun owners are irresponsible, and when you've got one that was being as responsible as he could be and is providing information on how to retrieve the stolen firearm, and nothing. By the government, the ones that are there supposed to serve and protect, but they don't, they protect, but not us. They just serve us. They protect them, and then they serve us. That's how that works. But it is protect and serve, but it's not the same people. Sad. It is absolutely sad. Here's the, I agree, about we'll be living in the Wild West soon. Absolutely. No doubt. Bezos spaceship encounters Anomaly. A Blue Origin space launch from Texas on Monday went horribly wrong as the booster rocket exploded shortly after takeoff. No one was injured in the incident, and the capsule carrying about 36 experiments managed to detach safely. The company owned by Amazon mogul Jeff Bezos now faces delays to its suborbital tourist flights pending a government investigation, however. About 1 minute and 4 seconds into Monday's launch, the New Shepard booster flared orange and then exploded. The capsule on top avoided destruction, falling back from the height of 8.8 kilometers to land on the ground with the aid of parachutes. It says it appears we've experienced an anomaly with today's flight, Blue Origin's Erica Wagner said on the launch live stream after the explosion. This was unplanned and we do not have any details yet, but our crew capsule was able to escape successfully. We're responding to an issue this morning at a launch site, one location in West Texas. The company tweeted out, about an hour later, this was a payload mission with no astronauts on board. One capsule escape system functioned as designed. And that, I was just blown away. Let me see if I can get this up. I was blown away at that system. That's incredible. I mean, the moment that system realized that it wasn't going to be able to recover whatever the problem was, it kicked that capsule off of there. I mean, that's incredible. I like to see that. I like to see that. It makes me feel much better about the future of rocketry and space travel, because the last thing we want to see is repeats of incidents like the Challenger. Stuff like that's really messed up. Let's see. Yeah, I was one of those that saw that in school. The Challenger explosion. Watching it on TV. One of the TVs that everybody was so happy when they seen it in the classroom when you walked in. The one that was chained down to the rack. Yep. Yeah, I remember them playing it. I don't remember that day real super well. It's been so long ago. But I do remember that the teachers were kind of, they didn't know what to do. You could tell. I do remember that. They were just kind of like, it was a pretty devastating moment. And I can't remember. It seems like they turned the TV off. I think they talked to us kids for a little bit. And if I'm not mistaken, later on, before the end of the day, if I'm not mistaken, they made an announcement on the intercom, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I wanted to cover this. I think this is probably something to pay attention to. It says Iran provides details on a new suicide drone. It says here Iran says it has developed a suicide drone specifically designed to hit Israel's largest coastal cities in case open hostilities break out between the two longtime foes. Speaking to Iranian channel IRIB TV1, Brigadier General Kamars Haidari, the chief of the nation's ground forces, revealed that Tehran had developed the Arash-2 drone, which is a newer version of the Arash-1 long-range suicide unmanned aerial vehicle. Touting the next generation of this UAV as peerless, Haidari noted that Iran had specially designed this drone to target Haifa and Tel Aviv. He said also that his country's military are awaiting orders to deploy it one day. The general went on to describe Arash-2's features, saying that its unique capabilities enable it to retrieve information multiple times before striking and eliminating its designated target. Haidari added that the drone had already been added to the military's inventory and promised to demonstrate its potential during future military exercises. According to media reports, the new drone's predecessor, Arash-1, has the capability to travel a distance of more than 1,400 kilometers before hitting its target and can evade radar detection. The UAV is said to be 4.5 meters long, with the wingspan estimated to be between 3.5 and 4 meters. The drone's design also enables it to conserve fuel. Iran and Israel have long been at odds with Tehran's nuclear program, and that goes in just all the history of it. No need in repeating that. But, yeah. That's a tad bit of an escalation. I mean, and I say that, when I say that, I'm not choosing a side. I want to make that very clear. I'm not placing this cluster on, nope. This is firing up once again. Azerbaijan strikes Armenian border. Explosions attributed to artillery and drones were reported by residents of Ardenas, Jermuk, Gors, and Tatev cities within Armenia proper. I probably said those all wrong. Shortly after midnight on Tuesday, Armenia was blamed neighboring Azerbaijan for the attack. shots being fired along the entire line of the Armenian-Azerbaijani border, and the government in Yerevan has called an urgent meeting, according to local media. The Armenian Defense Ministry said the army of Azerbaijan has used heavy artillery, and drones are also being used. A Turkish-made Bayraktar drone was allegedly shot down over Vardinas, which is in northern Armenia and not adjacent to the disputed region of Nagorno-Karabakh. Armenian troops are giving an adequate response, Yerevan said. The government of Azerbaijan said Armenia began widespread provocations against the Azeri armed forces, which responded with intensive fire on Armenian positions. The Defense Ministry in Baku accused Armenian teams of saboteurs of mining roads and firing mortars into Azerbaijani army positions near the towns of Basarkecher, Istisu, Garakilsa, and Goris on the Azeri side of the border, causing losses among personnel and damage to military infrastructure. Azerbaijan also stated that there were losses among personnel and military equipment of the Armenian armed forces. 2 days' morning clashes are a major escalation of tensions between the two Caucasus countries. Azerbaijan attacked Nagorno-Karabakh in early August after accusing Armenia of violating the 2020 ceasefire and demanding the full demilitarization of the area inhabited by ethnic Armenians, and prompting condemnation from Russia, which is a guarantor of the truce. So, again, it's firing back up. Not good, not good. Let me have a sip of coffee here. Yeah, it was like freezing this morning when I woke up. It was nice and chilly here. It was, low 50s, I think? And it's going to be in the 50s again this coming morning, so I bet somebody goes to bed with their whoopee. It's not cold enough to get that big comforter out on us, because that, that damn thing. It's got to be pretty cold for you to have that thing on top of you, because it's so warm. Oh, goodness. I'm going on lunch. Go warm me up some deer chili. Alright, let's see. Civilians killed in Ukrainian shelling of Russian region. Ukrainian forces shelled the town of Logachevka in Russia's Belgorod region on Monday, the region's head, Vyacheslav Gladkov said on his Telegram channel. Yeah, I know. Probably nowhere close. The shelling killed an elderly woman and left 4 injured, he said, adding that they had been taken to a local hospital. The deceased woman and 3 of the injured people were all Ukrainian citizens, Gladkov said, adding that the 4th person is a local resident. There were also partial destruction of several private houses, cars, and a power transmission line, the official said, adding that local emergency services had to temporarily halt gas and electricity supply to the town. Local authorities were also ordered to evacuate Logachevka residents in the wake of the shelling. Logachevka is located close to Russia's border with Ukraine, with a border crossing located nearby, according to Russian media. The Russian military responded to the shelling with an airstrike that forced the Ukrainian troops to leave their position and disperse. Since the start of Moscow's military operation in Ukraine, Kiev's forces have carried out numerous strikes on settlements and border checkpoints in Russia's regions of Belgorod, Bryansk, and Kursk. The attacks, which mainly involve drones and mortars, have hit both infrastructure and residential areas, resulting in destruction, injuries, and several civilian deaths, local authorities reported. So, I have a feeling, a very distinct feeling, that Putin is about to put a bear paw down. I think we're going to see it, and I think he's setting up for it. I don't think he retreated because he was getting whooped. No. I think he's setting up to put a bear paw down. Plain and simple. Ukraine and Russia interested in nuclear plant ceasefire, says the UN. We'll see. I kind of have a feeling that the only way Kiev's going to be good with that idea is if Kiev's the ones that's in control of it. But we'll see. I haven't read this. Russia and Ukraine are interested in the International Atomic Energy Agency's plan to create a protection zone around the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi claimed on Monday. While there has been no agreement yet, Grossi said both sides are engaging and having questions about the proposal. Speaking with reporters, the IAEA chief outlined that the proposed nuclear safety and security protection zone would include a ceasefire and may include other things, according to Reuters. Basically, it's a commitment that no military action will include or will imply aiming, of course, at the plant or a radius that could be affecting its normal operation. This is what we expect, he explained. Diplomatic caution and professionalism requires prudence, but what I see is two sides that are engaging with us, that are asking questions, lots of questions. Grossi led a team of IAEA inspectors to Zaporozhye NPP and nearby Energodar at the start of September. They observed the damage from the artillery attacks on the Russian-controlled facility, but declined to attribute blame. Moscow has registered almost 30 attacks on the facility since July, including at least 2 attempts by Ukrainian troops to storm the power plant, even as IAEA inspectors were visiting. Kiev has accused Russia of staging the shelling to discredit Ukraine, even though its military eventually admitted to targeting the area. So, again, this is hopefully good news. I just kind of have a feeling that Kiev is not going to be interested unless they get back control of the plant, and Putin's not going to let that happen. That I am sure of. That would be a really, really strategically stupid thing for him to do. And not saying that, to use it as leverage or a weapon or anything like that. Absolutely not. But it's an extremely important and valuable resource. Plain and simple. And the more he made sure things went, fine at that plant and that the power got out to the people, the better he looks. And I'm talking about Putin. The better he looks. He doesn't look good if he does something that's going to, negatively affect all the civilians of the country. He's not going to look good if he does that. He knows that. This guy's not dumb. This guy's on a level of strategy that's up there. And he's no idiot. Putin's never been an idiot. However, this says Germany has crossed the red line, says Russia. I agree. I believe he has met with Z in person. Not that long ago, actually. I'm pretty sure that they met. Yep, I'm aware that he was the head of the KGB. Yep, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, that guy. I've got a lot of respect for Russians. I do. I always have. They're very committed, strong people. Plain and simple. I mean, they are cut from one hell of a tough cloth. and all of them that I've personally met. And when I say that, it's been a smattering of people from around the area, like Czech Republic, or Russia itself, of course. I think one of the guys was from Poland. Just all around that area, and every single last one of them incredible people, absolutely incredible individuals. Let's see. Let's hear. Did I start reading it? No, I didn't. Germany has crossed a red line with Russia by sending arms to Ukraine, Moscow's ambassador in Berlin said on Monday. The decision undermined decades of reconciliation since the end of World War II and the Nazi invasion of the Soviet Union, the diplomat added. The very fact that the Ukrainian regime is being supplied with German-made lethal weapons, which are used not only against Russian military service members, but also the civilian population of Donbass, crosses the red line, Ambassador Sergei Neshesev said in an interview with Izvestia newspaper. He added that Berlin should have known better, considering the moral and historic responsibility that Germany has before our people for the Nazi crimes. They have crossed the Rubicon, Nechachev stated, saying an idiom for passing the point of no return. Berlin discarded its long-standing policy of not sending weapons into zones of armed conflict to join the U.S. and other NATO allies in providing weapons to Ukraine. The German government says it has a moral responsibility to back Kiev so it can defend itself against Russia. Germany also joined an effort by the EU to decouple the economies of member states from Russia's. German businesses have been relying on cheap Russian natural gas for 5 decades, since before the Soviet Union collapsed. The German government has unilaterally acted to destroy bilateral relations with Russia that were unique in scale and depth and have been built over decades, the Russian ambassador noted. In essence, the post-war reconciliation of our nations and peoples is being eroded, Nechachev said. According to the diplomat, economic restrictions imposed on Russia over the Ukraine conflict have resulted in a sharp increase in utility bills, a surge in consumer prices, and a decrease in real incomes in Germany. Nechachev said the sanctions war against Moscow is being increasingly seen as shooting yourself in the foot in Germany, which has already faced protests over the cost of living crisis. The ambassador noted that Russia took no pleasure in seeing the damage, even if Berlin has itself to blame for it. And, speaking about energy, I was at somebody else on my Facebook, a friend of mine on Facebook, that posted about her power bill today. I'm assuming that she's with just Ameren, but apparently she was on budget billing, and her bill just, jumped through the roof. So, man, I'm telling you, I don't think the civilians of the different nations, I don't think a whole lot of them are standing behind all of this nonsense. Especially considering, just look at everything. Doesn't matter where you stand with the pandemic or anything like that, but we just went through all of that nonsense, and now it's like, as if that didn't drive us into the ground enough, our governments are trying to completely wipe us out. But, again, I think it's orchestrated, and I am highly suspicious that they're all working together, and I'm pretty certain they're going to get their great reset that they want so bad. But, I'm damn well not going to take a part, I'll tell you that. Oh, anyway. All the tabs I had open. Let me have a few sips real quick of coffee. Cover some headlines. I agree with you 100%, Christopher. Yeah, that's not just some oversight or something they couldn't afford to do when it comes to hardening our grid. Something they don't want to do. And, then they turn around and they do this investigation about the, lack of security with our power grid. And they do this big old study and all that, and they released the results of the study, but they released viable, sensitive information with that report that even gave you the locations of which substation, well, I'm calling them substations, power stations, whatever, which ones you would have to hit in order to take down the entire nation at one time. Which ones you would have to go plink, plink, plink at once to take down the entire national grid. It's like, oh, that's nice. Did you make them up Google Map files and everything? They can put in their GPS too? Damn. So yeah, and I don't see that they're going to do anything to fix it at all as far as hardening the grid. I honestly think, and I've always thought this, I think the most secure energy grid would be an independent. I mean, it would be much better for all of us to do whatever was best for us in our area, which may be something like solar, or it may be something like wind, or maybe you do have availability of hydropower, okay? But I think we would be better off at decentralizing the grid and trying to go more towards a generate your own direction. And I'm not saying not have a grid, but if we all were generating our own power, whatever, for those of us that could, there are some people that couldn't. There are some people that they're just not in a good location, whether it be for sun, for wind, for hydropower, for anything. So those folks aren't going to be able to put into the grid. That's fine. I think there still needs to be a grid so that those folks can have power. But I think this whole centralized idea of the grid that they have going on is a very insecure and dumb idea that they've got. But they have it modeled that way because it keeps them in control, and they're the ones that get to keep charging and, basically have lifetime customers of pretty much everybody. Ain't gonna want to give that up, of course. Oh, I agree. I agree about having the back doors in our software. Oh yeah. I've long said this. There is no such thing as internet security. That's a fact. There is no such thing as internet security. Now, you might be able to throw off the average everyday Joe, but anybody that knows what they're doing, nah. Let's see. Okay, I'm in the right place. Hang on, let me have a vape or two. Too much blood in my nicotine system. Yikes. Only got about 5,000 notifications on my phone. I had them cleared off when I started the show. Yikes, pardon me. Like, why you're vaping, dumbass? I know it's odd. I don't normally cough when I vape. It's something about when I do the show. Don't ask me what it is. I do the show, and I've got this deal where I'm more apt to cough. I don't know why. It's weird. Turkish exports to Russia nearly double, says data. Ukraine says it's repaired damaged power infrastructure. Germany's GDP forecasted to plunge. I wonder why. A Hungarian official says EU is the losing side in Ukraine conflict. Yeah, I would agree. Putin and Macron discuss safety at Zaporozhye nuclear plant. Russian energy revenues forecasted to soar. Greek PM open to meeting Turkey's Erdogan. U.S. could benefit from EU recession, says Washington Post. Former British colony moots abolition of monarchy. I know there's been a lot of talk about that. Turkey to double down on mediating Ukraine conflict, says the media. Yeah, when it comes to that, I shouldn't have an opinion about the monarchy because I don't live under it. I can give you my opinion, but that falls true whether it be under a monarchy or whatever the hell you want to call this nightmare we've got going on. Either way, I do not believe in authoritative governments, period. I think the original foundation of this country was just fine with the addition of the civil rights amendments, obviously. But aside from that, it was just fine until all the lawyer hacks got involved. Let's see. Denmark's inflation nears 40-year high. Germany has crossed the red... Oh, I covered that story. Czech president explains why Prague can't mediate between Moscow and Kiev. Ukraine cracks down on civilians, says official. Baltic nation to open trade office in Taiwan. Kremlin responds to questions on Russian troops regrouping. Quote-unquote, assassinated pro-Russian official reveals his death was staged. Let's see. Talked about that. UN sounds alarm over modern slavery. Of course your internet went wacky. You're tuned into the show. Let's see. Huge ammunition stockpile destroyed, says Moscow. I don't think we're anything but wacky. Russian economy on path to growth, says Putin. EU country doubles Russian gas imports. No rush for retaliation to another stupidity by the EU, says Moscow. Germany refuses to give battle tanks to Ukraine. Well, then fine, give me a couple. Withdrawal from Zaporozhye nuclear site not on the agenda, says Kremlin. Yeah, just UPS those tanks right on over to me. Let's see. Iran provides details on new... Oh, I covered that. Oh, I agree with you there. We traded one king for several hundred. Yep. Let's see. Oh, wait. Did I say that one? Withdrawal from Zaporozhye nuclear site not on agenda. I think I said that. Covered that. Norway skeptical about EU's gas price cap, says PM. Senator confirms that the U.S. helped Ukraine with counteroffensive. I mean, this is not good. I mean, that's all that Russia needs to declare war. Plain and simple. That's all they need. U.S. mayor justifies luxury flights citing skin color and gender. She said that because she was a black woman, that she needed to fly first class. Because if she flew economy, with all the regular folk, she would be endangering herself. So, Germany risks deindustrialization, says The Economist. That's kind of what would happen whenever you get rid of your energy. U.S. supplying intel for Kiev strikes on nuclear plant, says Moscow. Egypt to allow ruble payments, says Teztor, which is a big, big deal. Zelensky admits Ukraine is dependent on the U.S. What was your first clue? Ukrainian mayor announces a hunt for collaborators. Payment giants to track gun stores say... Oh, I've covered that. But on this, think about this. Think about this. Ukrainian mayor announces hunt for collaborators. What if the New York City mayor would say, okay, I want you to round up all the Trump supporters. I want you to round up Ultra MAGA. Right? Not much different. Ukraine and Russia interested in nuclear plant cease... Oh, I actually read that one. Civilians killed in Ukrainian shelling. I read that one too. Batting a good average here. Let's see. Detained Russian teachers to face punishment, says Ukraine. Israeli spy chief slams Iran's nuclear charade. Let's see. Armenian PM calls Putin and Macron over Azerbaijan aggression. So, there we go. No other headlines up there. So yeah, I would say that pretty much covers the nonsense of the day. I have a feeling that some of these things are going to open up into something a little bit bigger over the course of the next few days. We shall see. I do expect there to be a retaliation in Ukraine. I expect it to be a very noticeable effort. I kind of have a feeling they're going to shock and awe 'em. So, well, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. But I have a feeling that that's on the books, and who knows what else. So, there's definitely no lack of craziness, that's for sure. Anyway, I am going to hop off of here and relax the rest of the evening. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow and do it again. I appreciate you coming. I hope to see you tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.